We're live.
And we're live.
What's up, guys?
I'm still a little bit sick, so if I sound a little nasally, that's why. I was a lot of bit sick on Tuesday, but we're getting over it. I'm probably gonna let it. I'm gonna pull a Daniel and probably wait till the last minute to do the next open workout, so I can let it clear out. He did that workout today, Brock.
I know. I figured that whenever he sent that text.
Yeah,
I got a little crud going on too.
Dude, anytime my father-in-law visits or I visit my father-in-law, I'm pretty sure I get sick over 50% of the time.
I think Bob does it on purpose.
Dude, he's like, I'll be honest, I don't know how he's not dead. He doesn't sleep. He eats terribly. He's got like medical conditions. I'm like, dude, and I can't keep up with his pace. Like he's doing something. It's like he has to do something every moment of every day. I'm like, I die almost every time that we have to. Basically, we hang out. So whatever.
So we're all sick.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Daniel, I don't know how you did. This is going to be Brock's best workout of the Open. I'm going to tell you that right now. I know how Brock did, and it's not normal for him I did not expect him to be this high. Like, this will be the highest any of us do at all, unless there's a max lift, like for any workout there is. So Brock, go ahead and say what you got for that workout.
271
on reps. Daniel, it'll be interesting. My score's pretty bad. I did it once and then I'm like, I'm good. We're good with that. We'll just let it rock. I'm a grid athlete right now. I don't care how this is right now. This is how 207 looks. I've accepted it. This is what we're doing. And the Open's going to be humbling the whole entire way. Wait till we talk about 25.2. I still think I'll beat y'all down, but it's not going to be great. But I got 206. So what did you get, Daniel?
Yeah, full disclosure, because I waited so long, I looked at both y'all scores online to see what I needed to hit.
Man, this is cheating.
And still came up short. So I was at 196. So 10 or
you're on the burpees.
Yeah, I'm sorry, not 196. You were 206, you said?
Yeah.
192. I got 10 burpees in.
Did you see my last 24 burpees?
Yeah, you were moving.
I bet those were faster than yours, Brock. Just saying. Still, all of the rest.
Dude, I didn't have any gas left, dude. Those last burpees
pretty sucks pretty hard. I agree. You're kind of a punk. But week 1 is all cardio. This is Brock's victory lap. He's obviously the fittest one in endurance. We knew this before we went in. Now, this one, what would you say? This was the skill test?
Yeah, I guess. I won't. I don't think
it's kind of just of a CrossFit-y workout. But Daniel, can you bar muscle up?
I've done one in my lifetime.
I remember you did a ring muscle up. We got you to do a ring muscle up at the gym one day.
I think I've done one in my lifetime. If I make it to the bar muscle ups, I'll just see how many I can get.
So on this workout, I'm telling you, you can pace this, and I would do this. You can break this up a lot and pace it where it's just boring and you're never really hurting that bad, and you'll still have time for bar muscle ups at the end. And anybody that's not like you, like bar muscle ups are not a problem. Like that's how you should do the workout. The whole goal is to get a bar muscle up. So you want to be as fresh as possible, which means none of the rest of the stuff matters. Like I would 4-set the pull-ups, 4-set the chest to bar. Then, on the chest to bar, honestly, you go singles. You pick a low bar and just do singles if you're disciplined about it.
But those, you can do the cold kipping thing for both of those, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then thrusters, 4-set the thrusters. That sounds like a lot. It's a lot of rest, but that's what I would do if you're not confident on bar muscle ups.
What's Does your chest to bar? Does your chest just need to hit the bar? Like, how
It
does
has to touch the bar below your collarbone.
Okay.
That's the below your collarbone is the rule. Like if it doesn't touch, like it has to be a physical touch. It can't just be high enough.
Okay.
I will send you a video of how I think you should do it. Like, and you'll get through it fast.
Okay.
It might look a little goofy, but it is the fastest way for somebody who doesn't do CrossFit like to do it.
Okay.
I've got a little bit of an issue because I have not done any gymnastics since I started grid training. There's no point in doing it, right? Like occasionally I'll do it in a workout, but I've not tried to do a lot of gymnastics at all. And then I did bar muscle ups like a week ago, and then I did them today. And I cannot do more than 3 bar muscle ups without my hands ripping. My hands are going to rip because you build tolerance, right, with your hands the more you're on a rig, right? So not only do I not have any tolerance because I haven't been training, I'm 12 pounds heavier than I used to be, right? So it's just like my hands, it's not ability. Like it's easy to do bar muscle ups, but like I feel the skin pulling immediately. So like I guarantee you if I did a set of 6 bar muscle ups, I would rip, which is insane. Like with grip, doesn't matter if you have grips, chalk, or whatever. And so this is an issue, right? This is an issue for this workout because like I can do like 25 unbroken bar muscle ups, or I used to be able to. Now I can't do 4 without ripping my hands. So I'm gonna have to get creative in how I approach this. I'm hoping just to beat my time in 2022. Which are you
gonna like if you start ripping, are you gonna just full send and keep going, or are you gonna stop?
Probably. I don't really need my hands for much, like I can, wrap it in tape and still lift, right? And then you just need them to be good by next week. So like probably, but I'm just going to do 3 some bar muscle ups and try to make it a little fitnessy rather than big set, rest, big set. And then just let it be what it's going to be. Again, it's not super important, but, and then you'll be surprised, Daniel. Well, I guess you won't get there, but the 135 thrusters at the end of this smoke people. Like it doesn't really think, you don't really think of it very much, but for some reason, that last 15 thrusters, like people who are very capable of this, it reduces them to singles. It's like a crazy hard to do the last 15 thrusters. I'm willing to bet if Brock got there a minute before me on the thrusters, I could still beat him. Because
for sure, that's gonna destroy me.
Well, because if you have to do singles, and then somebody can do it unbroken, it's just the time gap on that is insane. If you watch Bryson's do the workout, like he got to that bar very quickly, and then he took 2 minutes to do 15 thrusters. Like that's when
I watched that I was like, yeah, I'm in trouble.
I also think he went out really hot, Brock, and I don't think he paced for himself. I think he's capable of like a minute better time. He just didn't optimize very well. I think he was doing it with JR and came out hot, right? And you just can't do that. You got to know how to work out. You got to know your limits. But do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely breaking 21.
Do you think the 18 is going to be hard for you? The 115?
I don't think it's going to be easy, but I don't think it. Dude, the gap, the 20-pound gap from 115 to 135 is so crazy on a thruster. For me, at least.
It just hits you. That's where it hits you.
Like what was it? Was it the quarterfinal workout last year that it was 95 thrusters, chest to bar, and then 135 thruster bar muscle up? I think it was.
No, that was the last open workout. It was 24.3.
It was an open workout.
Mm-hmm.
And that one hurt me when I got the. I was.
That was a really hard workout.
I missed it by 2 muscle ups. I got capped.
Okay, so you're not bad then at all.
Yeah, but that was all. I was stronger then.
I gotcha.
Than I am now.
I finished that one with 2 seconds left, so like you weren't. I don't think that's that bad. And I'm typically pretty good at like thruster gymnastic workouts. Used to be. I'm not. I won't say I'm good right now, but I was good then.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go for me.
Do you feel that extra weight even on the pull-ups, John?
On everything, Daniel.
Yeah.
Everything. It's crazy. Like I did handstand push-ups 3 days ago because I thought it could be 23.3 or 22.3. These were the 2 workouts I thought it could be. And I'm great at handstand push-ups. And I was in 23, I did the handstand push-ups in like 13 and 7, and I did 5 handstand push-ups and was almost failing. Now, like your shoulders are tired when you get to this point, but I came off of that wall and was like, I'm not good at anything. Every gymnastic, I can't do anything. Like there's no gymnastic that I'm good at now. Like it's all gone, all of it, and it was just insane. Because that's one thing I didn't think my pressing would get worse. Because like I'm doing a lot of strict pressing and push pressing, and I thought my pressing would stay with my weight, my pressing ability, and I thought my pulling would be a lot worse. And I understood this, but no, I'm bad at it all. So yeah, it is what it is.
Grid League starts.
What?
Did you say Grid League starts next week?
No, it doesn't start till May 24th.
Oh,
well, I have practice tomorrow, Saturday though. Like you have to. It's a lot of team coordination and stuff like that.
Nice.
So how do y'all practice? Like,
so
you're all in Dallas. You pretty close to Dallas, or no? It's Houston.
Yeah, no. The like half of our team lives in Houston, and half of our team is around in America. There's like one guy from California. There's a girl in Missouri. There's a girl in Nevada, and so like they will FaceTime at the same time, and then basically Sophia will be on there, our captain, and like I'll do my part, and then she'll tell Matt go, right, and then she'll tell me go, and then like we just kind of go off of that, and we have times based on that. Like we kind of know the way it is. Like a match has a certain format, and you know what you're going to do ahead of time, and then so you get to practice all this and who's the fastest one at each thing and all that stuff, and then we just practice the whole layout, and then some of it's like handoffs and stuff like that, and just different ways to like game things because you move down the grid. That's why it's called Grid League. So if somebody can do 3/4 of the grid, you might have somebody else do the first part and then they do the whole 3/4. But if another team like subs out at the 4th level, they have to run all the way back to sub that person out and then all the way back to 4. So there's so much strategy involved in like where you put your chess pieces. And it just looks like everybody just moves as fast as they can. And it's a bunch of freaks doing what freaks do best, right? The gymnastics people do their freaky stuff. The weightlifting people do their freaky stuff. The little girls do their little girl things that nobody else can do. But there's so much strategy in who to put where. Because the substitutions that you make, that's the most time, right? And you would think, well, if one person could just do the whole thing, that would save the most time. But if you just like paced it and did the whole thing, it's slower than subbing out and somebody going breakneck speed for 10 reps and then subbing out again.
That makes sense.
But yeah, so that's practice is just we go through the whole layout. But anyway, 25.2 should be I think it's bittersweet. I wouldn't say I'm happy with it, but I'm not like sad with it either. We'll see. I think I'll have a better feeling when I do it. I was 9-something last time or in 2022, so I want to just be around that. I'd be happy.
I think my goal is just sub 10 minutes. I know that's doable. I've never done 22.3, so I don't know. And I don't do thrusters very often.
So you pace yourself for the last round. That's it. The last round's the only part that matters. I mean, for Daniel, it's not it, but for you, just pace yourself for the last round. I think we should have handicaps.
I mean, I'm gonna probably be last almost every time, but I'm just glad I'm like even remotely close to you, John. Like, I appreciate you doing this grid league thing where 15 pounds are actually giving me.
Yeah, but I think you're light, right?
For what I was, yeah.
Right. So you're going from the heaviest you've been to now you just feel weightless. I'm going from like I feel like I can fly to like I got a 12-pound weight vest everywhere I go.
Hey, don't give yourself excuses, man.
I'm just saying you are the lightest you've been in a long time. Your body probably feels really good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, and I just feel like a slog. I'm just saying we're at different ends of our spectrums right now. And we'll see. Like, listen, I'm gonna win this workout. So we're close on an all cardio workout where I'm like bizarrely bad right now.
That's what I meant. It's okay, man. You don't get your little, you're a little offended right now that
I am. I would lock you up right now. Let's do 7-on-7.
Oh, speaking of 7,
I'm gonna go as hard as I can just to try to beat John.
Do it,
dude. If you go as hard as you can, Brock, you'll have the worst score you could have gotten.
I know.
This is a pace game, muscle endurance game.
Yep, it's all gonna come down to the thrusters for me. I'm fine on the rig.
Mm-hmm. I'm bad at the rig. It could go really bad. I could get like capped and be like, man, I'm just so unfit right now. like to him at an unhealthy level. What were you gonna say, Daniel? 7-on-7?
No, it's not important.
Well, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's not. I joined my small group has a guy that's in this like community flag football league, and he recruited me when he heard that I played in the league. And
he's hyped about it, yeah.
Yeah, he was super hyped. It was like, you realize I really didn't do anything, but okay. So I show up at this thing, and it was fun, man. But some of these guys were taking it so seriously. It's like, what are you doing out here, man?
Yeah, no, it's
the flag football's fun.
It's the best when like just very unathletic people take athletic endeavors so seriously.
Well, all these guys were actually pretty decent. I think so this is how it started off for me. I caught the first ball and I straight up like stiff armed the guy and went 60 yards. And they're like, yeah, you can't stiff arm. Like, oh shoot, sorry. Just a natural instinct of like type of thing. And then there was a later play where this, little scat back is running around me. I can't grab his dang flag, so I just grab him. Oh man. It was fun.
I wish we had that around here. Be careful with that. Hamstrings will tighten up.
Hamstrings were okay. Surprisingly, it was just my left big toe, a little bit of turf to them.
I know I run around with Seth sometimes as a high school kid that I work with. And like we decided to sprint up a hill one time, and I didn't pull anything, but it got real tight real quick. And I was like, all right, I'm done. You got like 7 more. Okay, 30 seconds. Can't even beat an old man. Come on now. We got a lot of work to do. I'm going to sit on this bench until I think you're fast enough. That's what happened. I limped on this bench. But that's fun. I'm happy for you. Are you going to be able to do this one?
What do you mean?
This workout? Can you do bar muscle ups on your at home?
Yeah, I'm gonna move the rack around so that I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I should be okay.
Okay.
If I get 5 bar muscle ups, I'm gonna be pretty.
Dude, if you get 1 bar muscle up, I think it's a win. Like doing it tired, it's a big difference too.
What's the cap?
12 minutes.
Yeah, I think I'll make it to the bar muscle ups. I do, but I don't know if I'll get any. We'll see.
There's momentum. You don't even have to be strong.
I got the long limbs. That helps.
Yeah, my dad did one yesterday. Just cold.
Nice.
I'm like, it doesn't go away. It's like riding a bike. Just if you got it once, you can do it. And Leslie did one. And she came down and was like, I don't want to do that again. Like her groin hurt after that. But she's not excited for this because of that bar muscle up. So, but it makes me curious what the last week's is. I feel like if it's just going to be like rowing and like JR is convinced it's just going to be a boring endurance workout because that's just what the open is. But if it ends up being like something heavy, like rowing something heavy and then like wall balls or something, like I think it's a great open. You know what I mean? But we'll see.
Toes the bar. There haven't been any core.
There hasn't been, but they don't really do like multiple rig stuff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there.
Right, we have pull ups, chest to bar, and bar muscle ups. So like then you're gonna do toes to bar again. Like I can't see that. But we haven't done wall balls. I not really any like heavy lifting. So, but I'm biased with that. No rowing. So we'll see. All right. So Daniel lost. I do think we should do a handicap for this next one. I'm going to say, Brock, I think we underestimate you way too much. I'm going to say me and you are just fresh. Daniel will put the cap at Daniel cannot lose if he gets 2 bar muscle ups. Is that fair, Brock?
Yeah.
So, like, if he gets under 2 bar muscle ups, he loses automatically. If he gets over 2 bar muscle ups, he cannot lose.
So it'll be between me and you at that point.
Right. Correct. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So, and then if he gets 2 exactly, it'll be a rock, paper, scissors between him and the loser live, and then that will be the loser of the week. Is that fair?
I'm good with it.
I think that's great. I think that works perfectly. Okay, we move on to our topic.
Yep. Hang on, let me pull it up.
Did y'all see Kyrie?
I will. I saw that.
Yeah, it's a bad time to be a Mavericks fan, man. It just keeps going.
Where did I? Oh, there it is. So we had. Oh, I missed this. Yeah, so my mom finished her chemo this week, so that's pretty cool.
Is she amped up?
Do I?
Is she amped up about it?
Yeah, but she's still. So she had she had her last treatment Tuesday, so she's still pretty sick right now. But
Gotcha.
she's got to have. She goes for an MRI Monday, and then I think that'll just show. I don't think that shows like any cells or anything like that. I think that just shows the mass and how big it is and all that. And then she'll have
or gone or something.
Yeah, and then she'll have her surgery March 31st, and then
the surgery to remove it all.
Yeah, she's having a double mastectomy.
Okay.
And to my understanding, what they'll do is when they cut everything out, they take that and run a biopsy or pathology report, something, I don't know the terms, but they test all you, and if there's still live cells, then they have to discuss further treatment.
Right.
If there's not live cells, if everything's dead, then they know that the chemo worked, and then eventually she'll have like a full body PET scan, I think is what that is, and make sure that it hadn't spread anywhere, make sure that to kind of give them a baseline. Because I think once I don't know for sure, I ain't never been through it, but I think that I think that they do that so that once you've had cancer, I'm assuming you go back every 6 months or a year or so and have another scan done, make sure nothing's come back. So that'll kind of be like their baseline scan.
Does David do that?
Don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that, Leslie. She's on immunotherapy now. Like she's got, I think that's what it is. She's got to stay on that. Whatever she's on right now, she has to continue taking for a year.
Just meds
until November. I think it's immunotherapy, but I'm not 100% sure. Pretty sure.
Does David have to go back, Daniel, every year?
Not every year. He might go. I don't know actually if he goes or how often he goes now, but I know initially he had to go every year for like maybe 3 years or so, but then it was good.
Okay, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I saw Jonathan balling it up the other day.
Yeah, man.
On my Facebook feed, I was like, "Oh, look at this! Look at this!
He's doing well, dude.
He's got little muscles and all that."
I know he's not as big as he should be. Otherwise, he would have got an FCA scholarship. But oh well.
Well, listen, all the Helm boys didn't have me in the weight room with them. Okay, you're a lucky guy. Okay,
you're not lying. You're not lying. But.
Excuse me.
All right, that's awesome, Brock.
Yeah, awesome, dude.
That was a good week. It was a good week. Good positive for months of negative. You know, it was cool. It was cool to see it. All right, so we had a comment. A question, I guess you could say.
Oh, snap. A comment. This is new.
A comment. Let's go.
Let's keep this up, people.
Yes. I will read it off, and then we can kind of break it down.
Oh, man. Getting comments and stuff. Oh, man.
Getting double-digit watchers.
Oh man. It is taking off. Listen, our growth rate, I mean, we grow 17% every 3 weeks, you know, and we're going to be Joe Rogan by the year end.
We'll be good. We'll be having Joe on our show.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, somebody sent me a clip of him like finding this 70s Christian song, and he was like, he loved it. Just loved it. It's about doing drugs, and Jesus is what you're looking for. It's not drugs. It's like a 70s song, right? But like he was like, this thing slaps, man, and like it's just it's just the randomest song.
Joe. All right, so Beck says, here's a recent church dilemma that I wouldn't mind a Christian outsider's opinion on. The 2IC, didn't we decide that's what it was? 2IC?
Yeah, I think so.
Or 2LC?
I think
2IC.
I think 2IC. If you were to type out I on your iPhone, that's what it should look like.
Okay. And what did we say that stood for?
We assumed second in command, so I apologize. Not correct.
So
gave us
the second in command. The second in command at our church is Polynesian and said, quote, "I won't have blacks or whites at my house," end quote. And quote, "I have a bias towards my own race," end quote. The senior pastors don't like that he said it, but there haven't been any consequences either. The church has grown significantly with Polynesians from across Melbourne, and our church's head office loved the growth. I feel like changing churches, but my family is so ingrained in the day-to-day life of that church, and it's very difficult to move my family out. So I think we're just going to stay. What would you guys do?
Okay, so this is in Australia. This is in Australia, right? Melbourne.
Second in charge. Okay, thank you, Beck.
That is an interesting.
This was who commented.
So I have my initial thoughts. I'm judging. The commenter said I don't know if I should move my family. So I'm judging. He's just like the head of the household. This is the husband, if you will, right, of his family.
I think it's a girl because this is who Beck is who.
Okay.
Commented.
But she's okay. So it's because she said like move my family out. Like that's
why. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Either one of you guys want to go first? I have my initial thoughts, but it's very like gut immediate thought type deal.
I'm assuming mine will probably not be far off of that, but
yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting too.
Everybody love everybody, okay? Like if I think, and so this has happened to me and Leslie before, not in a different circumstance, but we were going to a church, and then like all of a sudden there was like just a sketchy sermon like we didn't like at all, and everybody around us, were like, clapping, amen, right, and like it didn't seem like anybody else was like, are y'all listening to the same thing we're listening to? Because it was just very like, it is not in the Bible what this guy is preaching. And we didn't go back like immediately. That was the last time we were there. Another instance, a more extreme example. We went to a church. We went there and we went to a small. We joined a small group. This is in Eastern Kentucky. Okay, and we had been going for about a month. I'm getting there, dear. If you can just.
Oh, this is gonna be
we've been going there for a month, and everything seemed fine. Like the pastor was fine. It was a little surface level, but we're very limited with the options that we have. Okay, in fact, like one of my professors at optometry school also went to this church, suggested this church to us. Okay, so like when we joined, and we were in a small group, like we were friends with some of these people, and some of them were weird, but it's fine. Like, and then randomly, this guy did an exorcist, or the pastor did an exorcist, and on a person, and I then started bringing snakes out, and we were like, all right, well, we're out. Like that's cool. And like one of the people that is in our small group, her name's Kia Glover. I'm not gonna say her last name, but is like, oh my gosh, did y'all see that exorcist? That's amazing, huh? And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I don't think that's really what's going on. I think y'all are getting hoodwinked, and this is really, really bad. But I didn't tell her that. But Leslie's looking at me mid service, like scared, right? Like it just felt like there was a lot of things happening, and we didn't want to be about it. Okay. And I'm like, just calm down. We want to get through this sermon. We won't come back. And we didn't. And that's a little bit to an extreme. That's not somebody saying something that you don't agree with or is not biblical or goes against what Jesus would teach or what Jesus taught. But in the same vein, if there is one thing that is like that, there's going to be another thing that's like that. So the second they go something that's against the Bible, or you're learning from somebody that's teaching that's not in the Bible, you don't need to be there any longer. And or question that person, being like, I don't see this in the Bible. Jesus would say the exact opposite, actually. What do you say to that? And have an honest conversation with that person. Either leave or you have that conversation, because you should always live by what's in here. And if it's not in here and they're not teaching from the word, you don't need to be there. Point blank.
I will.
That first statement. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brock. I'll add on later.
I mean, that first statement, I won't have blacks or whites at my house. I mean, that is that's the complete opposite of what Jesus would teach.
Blacks and whites are in the Lord's house. When we get to heaven, there's going to be people of all different colors.
Yeah.
There's gonna be purple people. You're gonna be mad against purple people?
I mean, that's crazy.
I completely agree with what both you say. I like to add scripture just so that people know we're not pulling this out of our butts. Galatians 3:28. There is neither Jew nor Greek. There is neither slave nor free man. There is neither male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. Genesis 1:27. We were all made in the image of God. Even Deuteronomy talking about the judgment in Israel. So this was talking about, a completely different system. It was basically God was king for Israel. So he was describing the laws for Israel, and made it clear to not show any partiality when doing justice, when exercising justice. James 2:1-4. Don't show any partiality with the people among you, churchgoers. Paul rips Peter for showing partiality against the Gentiles when the Jews show up and when his Jewish brothers show up, because he wants to look good there. So, and then to add to what John said, if the leading pastors don't like it, but they're allowing it, that shows that where their heart intentions are. Their heart intentions are with me. How many people do we have sitting in pews? What's our church budget look like? It's not, are we teaching the word of God? Are we bringing more souls to Christ? So there's something else, it's not, this isn't going to be the only thing. So it's a tough thing to do. I don't envy your position, but Jesus said, if you don't, relatively speaking, hate your family compared to how you love me, then you're not my disciple. So
that's a hard pill to swallow.
Yes.
And people, and like whenever he's saying Galatians 3:27-28, Paul is talking to Jewish people saying, like, you shouldn't see yourself above Gentiles. Everybody is the same in God's eyes, because the Jews were the chosen people. There's a little bit of a nose in the air about it. And Gentiles follow different customs, and customs are a huge, huge thing in the Jewish religion. And he's like, you're all the same. You're all the same in God's eyes. Nobody's different. And it was really, really hard for them to get over too. A lot of them didn't. A lot of them could not see that.
Jesus dismantled that narrative with the woman at the well and going to Samaria and like who's my neighbor? The Samaritan, right? That actually stops for the guy. Jesus was all about breaking those types of barriers. So,
and his own disciples couldn't see it. Like, why are we here? Why are you doing this to people that are going to be mean to us? And he's like, y'all don't see it. You will, but you don't. And it's. I mean, it's cool. It's really, really cool. I love that. I love that Jesus is so cool. It's very good. There's not answers. Like, there's sometimes I have questions that like the Bible doesn't have a clear-cut answer on, but man, like 97% of the time it does, and it's so matter of fact that it almost gives you comfort that this is the right thing to do. Like, even if it's hard, you 100% know that you are doing the right thing in God's eyes, or you're doing what God or Jesus would want you to do in that situation, and that can give you peace amongst hard decisions. Even if it's for you, I know whenever I was in the midst of kind of like changing myself, like in high school, it was really hard to like just cut people off and to not talk to them. But like, I knew this is what I had to do in order to make myself closer to God. And none of that stuff that I was into was leading me closer to God. And it made that decision easier to do because it gave me peace.
And going back to that, the disciples asked Jesus, "What's the most important commandment?" And he said, "Love the Lord your God." And then he said, "And love your neighbor as yourself." Well, not having blacks and whites at your house, quoting that pastor, that's not loving your neighbor as yourself. It doesn't say love your Polynesian neighbor or love your Hispanic neighbor. Don't love your black neighbor. No, it's love your neighbor, period. You know?
And I want to add. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I just want to add, I appreciate you bringing this topic up because, I mean, we're from the outside in, this is easy truth to share, but living it, obviously the decision is harder. I've had to do something similar in my life with family members that we were at disagreements with, and it's never easy. So I don't envy your position, but I appreciate you bringing it up and seeking counsel on the matter. Just wanted to, say that.
Yeah, and this, that does make it a lot harder because when you've got your kids involved and they enjoy going to church to be with their friends. But I guess the first thought that I have, like a question that I would ask you would be, well, what if your son sits in on a sermon that he says this again, and then your son goes to school and starts hating on blacks and whites? Like that's because I firmly believe, and this may be taking it to an extreme, but I believe that racism is taught. It's not. I mean, when you go to a kindergarten class, or when my son goes to daycare, I mean, he plays with black kids, Hispanic kids. Like they don't care. Like they want to play with people who want to play with them. Like they just want to play. They just want to have fun. You have to teach somebody to be racist, in my opinion.
That was a great.
But comment, I would, to be blunt,
yeah.
To be blunt, I would probably leave. I know that's easier said than done, for sure. But I don't know. That's where I stand with it.
And you don't know this. Like there could be, your kids' friends, like their parents could be thinking the exact same thing that you're thinking. And if you leave, like they might also leave. But everybody's waiting on who does it first. Nobody wants to be that first person. You might start something and everybody goes to a different church and you have the same friends. Like you don't know that. Like it's impossible to know God's plan for you. But that's where your faith comes in.
Now let me ask y'all this. Do you think that in this situation, because it's something that's directly not biblical, do you just, if it's one of y'all, do you just leave? Or do you have that conversation with them and say, hey, we're leaving and this is why we're leaving?
To your kids?
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm talking about like, do you go to the church staff or go to the person that made the comment?
Yeah. I think if I'm ingratiated, I'd probably say that. I'd be like, this is not biblical. Y'all are teaching not biblical things. And like maybe the church is unaware. And I know that in the comment they said they are aware, but like they said the church grew in Polynesian people, and then that's when they love it. And that's a church problem. Straight up. Like the leaders shouldn't just be like, oh wow, we're growing. We're gonna allow then this, that's fine. That's a one-way ticket to Joel Osteen land. Like it's not what you want at all. So like, I mean, I think if you're ingratiated, you can't, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I don't either think there's like a right way or a wrong way. I think you can just do what you want. You feel like you want to tell them, you can. You just want to leave, you can leave.
Yeah.
I would, if you have a relationship with these people, I would tell them. But if I wouldn't expect a candid or nice conversation.
So. With all due respect, this church is whack, man. just
That's a tough spot to be in, though. I would imagine. I'm not acting like I've ever been in that situation, but that'd be hard. Yeah, that was good. That was a good comment. Very good.
Thank you.
Keep bringing them. We need stuff to talk about. and we love it, and it makes us think through our own thoughts too.
Absolutely.
I hate that. Like I this is my fault. And Brock, you can probably get a whiff of this. I will say what I say, thinking exactly the same parts of the Bible that Daniel is thinking, but I don't have the verses just offhand like that. But I'm saying the same thing. We get it from the same spot. I've read the same thing that he has, and then he just rattles off the verse. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. But it's like we're getting it, but I don't have it. I don't have it as good as he has it. You know what I mean? And it's just it's you know what it is? It's humbling, and it's motivating enough to get better, to have these verses more offhand memorized. Because like I'm speaking from the same verses, I just don't have them off memorized the way he does.
Well, that's what's nice about today's tools, man, is if you can like in your mind remember or kind of paraphrase it, you can type it into Blue Letter Bible or Google or something, and it'll take you to the passage. Whereas, like, imagine if you were trying to do this before the internet.
Oh man, yeah, I would. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you just read your Bible a lot more.
Yeah. So, pros and cons.
Yeah.
All right, Brock, what are we getting into today?
So what does it look like to be a follower of Jesus? So John was on the Glinton Girls podcast, and it was really good. We need to if I can figure out how to do it, I'll post it to our story. We can I'll post the link to it. But yeah, it was really, really good conversation. And one thing that I kind of gathered from it is, or one question, I guess, that I kind of gathered from it is, so what does it really look like to be a follower of Jesus? You know, what does a follower of Jesus look like? How do they live? You know what I'm saying? And Grant's always jumping in, just going crazy.
And then he'll jump right back out. Like he'll come for like 5 minutes, do 27 comments, and then jump right out. Go ahead, Brock.
I know that's a very broad question, but you know, after one thing that I really liked that John said was the fact that, you know, we're all born sinners, right? So we're all flawed people. So whenever we give our life to the Lord, that's when the change starts happening. You know, like you don't have to get cleaned up before you come to Christ, you know, because that doesn't, like, you can't clean yourself up because we're flawed, we're sinners. But once you come to Christ, that's when he starts changing you from the inside out. So the first is you make the decision. You know, we've talked about it before. I don't really like the term "ask Jesus into your heart" because it's kind of overused, and I like making the decision to follow Jesus, and that comes first, and then the change begins to happen. So what does that change look like to someone who's living in sin? We can fill in, I mean, anything. It doesn't matter if it's homosexuality, it doesn't matter if it's alcoholism, drug addiction, whatever, lust. I mean, it's all the same. So what does it look like? Because it's not always an immediate bam, I've changed 100%. Like there's a journey to it. You know, there's a sanctification. So some people's sanctification is slower than others. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think a part of it.
That's a loaded question. I know. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I think a part of it is that you've made the decision to follow Jesus. You believe Jesus is God. You believe he died on the cross for our sins, and you believe he resurrected from the grave. Jesus is God. This is what you believe. If you make that decision and then you want to follow what he teaches, I think, and this is where the disconnect is with Garrett, is that from then on, you live according to this. You live according to the Bible. If you don't know if something is sinful or not, what does the Bible say? If you have a question on like a difference, or if you should be Republican or Democrat, or like just literally anything you could possibly have a question on, what does the Bible teach? Specifically, what does Jesus teach? And how does that apply to your question or decision? Does that make sense? And then let that be the ultimate guide to how you live. I think the disconnect a little bit is the Bible the word of God, and it's not just written by man for man. And I think you're not really following Jesus. You could believe, but you're not following Jesus unless you follow the word. In the beginning, there was the word was with God, and the word was God. John 1:1. Like it's like one of the greatest verses of all time. And I think being a follower of Christ means you believe that. You believe the first thing with Jesus, and then 2, you live your life by what the Bible teaches us.
And I can give kind of a tangible example of that sanctification process in the life of one of my dad's friends. So this was back when I was little. I didn't know this guy's history until really my dad told me, but he became friends with someone in the neighborhood, and they found out they were going to the same church as us. This guy was on his 5th marriage. She was on her 3rd or something. And they were basically just trying church out to save their marriage because it was about to fail. Well, he keeps going. They keep going. He accepts Christ. And dad starts doing weekly Bible studies with him. And they keep meeting. And he notices this guy goes out every Fridays with his work buddies, just kind of to shoot the crap, but it's nothing edifying, right? He's spending time away from his family. It's usually not good stuff. He's usually drinking or whatever it is. And my mom says to my dad, hey, you need to say something about this. This isn't right. And my dad said, look, I'm not going to play the Holy Spirit in his life. We're just going to keep reading the word. And I'm hoping he comes to that conversation or that decision himself. Well, sure enough, time passes. He eventually, at one of these Bible studies, looks my dad in the face and goes, I don't think I should be going to these anymore. I don't think this is what Christ would want me to do. So, all that to say, sanctification, which is the process of becoming more like Christ while we're on this earth, right, is a messy process.
Or a change of desires.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put it in a different way.
It's not necessarily instantaneous. We were texting this week. It's not linear per se. Look at David, dude. A man after God's own heart, then commits murder and adultery. So
without a thought.
Yeah. Right. So, all that to say, it's a process, but you have to start with what you said, John. And that is, if you don't believe the core tenet that it is the word of God and it is inspired, then you're not going to get there because you're not truly believing. So it doesn't
and
for your life.
And I think a huge part with and Brock, we talked about this. Daniel might have been, and I don't know if it was if you texted me on the side or not, but is that near the end of the podcast, Garrett was like, I think it would be much easier if it wasn't in direct conflict with my lifestyle to accept that this is the word of God.
Right.
And that sentence,
that's huge,
is just mind blown. Like, you got it. You don't know that you just did it, but you have it.
That's it.
You have it right now. Like, that's it. You need to marinate on that right now. And it's amazing. And I don't know if it hit her like that, but like, that's the greatest thing she's ever said. With all of our talks, you know what I mean?
No,
like you said, and like we've talked about before, that group of people, like the people who struggle with homosexuality, they've been wronged a lot by the church. Like, they've been singled out. They've been.
It's like, hard. They got so much walls, and they're in their instant. And I don't blame them. But like, their instant reaction is to like either put up a wall or be hard against, right?
Yeah.
And I don't blame them at all. And I don't even think Garrett's like that at all. Like, I'm not saying she's like that at all. I think she's one of the most open people you can talk
absolutely.
to. You know what I mean? That's what's awesome talking to him. By the way, I don't know if you saw it, Daniel, but I put you up for sacrifice for the next one.
I did see it. I was a little offended you said I'd be so awkward, but I guess I get it.
Oh, I think you'd be awkward, dude. I think you'd be awkward.
Dude, they seem so cool.
Dude, they're great. They're great. They're great.
And I do want to apologize first and foremost for addressing them as the lesbian couple. It is now Garrett and Colleen. I apologize for not knowing your names.
It's like Gridley.
Yeah, that's bad. I'm already bad with names, dude. And then to throw that in there, that's just...
Oh, you're fine. You're not going to get canceled for that. I called somebody Big Mama, and this is sent an email to the whole country of CrossFit. I'd like to give... It's okay.
So, in a nutshell, John 14:15 says, directly tells you what it looks like to be a follower of Jesus. Jesus says, if you love me, obey my commandments. Period. That's it.
She makes a good point. I think that
is a good point
right there.
What did she say? What was her guess? No, she never did guess.
She was going to guess Dean.
Dean. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Dean is a better name, man. Dean Helm. That's a sexy man, dude. Dean.
That's like Clark Kent, man. That's
a little bit. You should have some glasses, and then whenever you got on the football field, took the glasses off. Like, you tell me that's not the most BA thing ever? That would have been amazing.
I'll keep it in my repertoire. Maybe I'll have a third son and get lucky.
There you go. There's no Dean in the Bible, so I don't know if you're
Dean. It's tough. Sorry, bro. Continue.
Oh no, that was all I had. Just short and sweet, to the point. If you love me, obey my commandment.
And where are his
which is just saying, if you love me, obey the word.
And Jesus said, right, I came to fulfill the law and prophets. So, like, the word, the whole word.
He is the word.
Yes, he is. John 1:1.
Dude, it's so pretty.
Yeah, it's cool when you actually think about that.
I know. It really is. Like, it's like, man, you knew what you were doing when you wrote that. Like, yeah. I don't know if you watched The Chosen, but like, whenever he, have you seen The Chosen, Daniel?
I've seen like an episode or two.
So they're one of the episodes, John's trying to figure out what to write, and he's got writer's block, and Matthew's writing stuff, and he wants to write stuff. Like, it's kind of what's going on. And then he just has this moment where Jesus is like reading in a what's it called? A synagogue. He's just reading the law, and John just watching him teach, and then he just starts crying, and it's like it's just so beautiful to him. Like, because this is God, right? This is the Son of God, and he's teaching his people, and it's just so beautiful to him. And he starts crying, and then he just writes, "In the beginning was the Word," and then like this is how he started his book. It was very like it will stick with you in a scene, like if you watch it. But no, it's
is that the one where they bring him the scroll?
Yeah,
the scroll with it.
Yeah. And I mean, it was. John knew what he was doing when he wrote that. I bet you when he wrote those two verses, he was like, "Y'all, this is fire. what I got
Yeah,
going on.
this is
Like
it.
this is Like you think Matthew's book is good? Wait, I come out hot. I'm telling you right now. First verse, you're hooked. You're ready for it.
Well, I mean, based on your point in that podcast, right? Of course, he knew what he was doing. He was inspired by the Holy Spirit, man.
There you go. Exactly.
This is good. If y'all haven't, I don't know if y'all got Amazon Prime, but
I
there's a
don't
new
want to
series, House of
start it
David.
until all of
Good.
the episodes are out. I hate getting into a show and then you gotta wait a week to watch the next episode.
Yeah, because dude, me and Destiny, we watched the first 3 episodes like the night that it came out, or the next day, and so now we've just been waiting. I think I think one comes out tonight. I think.
So I saw it, and I just don't want to start it until the whole season's out.
It's good.
It ends with Goliath too. It's a cool ending. I guess they're gonna do multiple seasons with it because, I mean, Goliath's like early.
Yeah,
they should
very early. Yeah,
they did a whole season.
Where did that?
The whole season ends at Goliath.
Oh my God.
So I don't know. I really don't know how much you can do.
Yeah, we're gonna have like 12 seasons.
I think there's only like 6 episodes, but I haven't watched any of them, so I don't know.
Where did that comic go?
So season 2, 15 years later. We're just gonna jump 15 years every time.
Can you be saved and not be a follower of Jesus?
So I would say, like, okay, you can bring up the prisoner that's on the cross with God. And he's like, Lord, remember me when you're in paradise, or Lord, please just remember me. And he goes, today you'll be with me in paradise. Like, that guy might have not been a follower of Christ per se, and then he was saved in that moment. But I would like to say in that moment, he's following Christ, right? Took him all the way to right when he was about to die. But in that moment, he decided to follow Christ. So ultimately, to your question, I would say no.
Yeah, I would say no,
that's like
because
the latest you can get, right? There ain't getting any later.
Because the way I see it is, so when you get, and it's a Christian term, but when you get saved, right? When you get saved, following Jesus is what is the evidence of your salvation. So getting saved, you have to follow Jesus afterwards. You know what I'm saying? So like when you get saved, the fruit of that is to follow Jesus.
I guess to answer it in a different way, I guarantee you there is a lot of people that say they are Christian and think they are saved and have no clue.
I think this goes to one of our previous podcasts when we covered Matthew 7:21 through 25 or something like that, and then referencing what John just said, Matthew 7:13, enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is broad that leads to destruction, and there are many who enter through it. For the gate is small and the way is narrow that leads to life, and there are few who find it. So I think there's a lot of cultural Christians that aren't Christians. I mean, Jesus gave this warning in Revelation to the church of Laodicea, right? I wish you were hot or cold, because you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out. So, I mean, you cannot be saved and not be a follower of Christ.
I just want to say I said the lukewarm thing too. I just didn't know.
You said that on the podcast.
I did, but I didn't have revelations on me. I'm telling
you. Perfect example.
I got everything. I just don't have it to the pinpoint the way he does. It's crazy annoying. He sounds so much better when he says it.
Dude, that's how I feel when I listen to like Johnny or someone. I'm like, how does he know all these dang?
Like he sounds so good, or he'll do like an analogy that just sounds like a parable.
Yeah,
and like it fits so perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, the lukewarm thing's kind of a crazy one. I think that's a beautiful verse.
Define beautiful.
It's like hits.
Okay.
That's fair.
It's very cut and dry.
They're all beautiful. We're all beautiful, but we're all made in the image of God. Everybody's beautiful. Blah 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 blah.
I don't know how you're using beautiful because
like it just like you're like, oh man, like it just hits you. You know?
Yeah. It's a good imagery, I guess.
Yeah. Or it's very easy to relate. Might be the wrong word, but like you got it.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And I think we're all lukewarm with certain things. I think lukewarmness can creep up on you without you realizing it.
Yes.
I agree.
Thank God for his grace in the process of sanctification.
Mm-hmm. Like I would say, like I'm very okay. Are we using hot as a good one and cold as a bad one?
Sure.
Okay. I would say I'm extremely hot with a lot of different things. But I'm also lukewarm, and it's really hard to not be lukewarm with certain things.
Mm.
I think everybody falls in that category a little bit. That
kind of goes along with this comment. What do you guys do when you don't feel like following Jesus? Is it enough to just do it anyway, even when your heart isn't there? That's good.
Well, okay. Is it enough to just do it, meaning follow Jesus, even if your heart isn't there? I would say that I feel like not following Jesus all the time. Our flesh is weak. We want to sin. Your heart is sinful. All of us, everybody. Mother Teresa wanted to sin so much. They almost called her dirty Mother Teresa, but she chose to do it anyway, even though her heart wasn't there. No, I would say your heart is there if you're choosing to do it, even though you don't feel like it. Then your heart is there. It's in there. It's there because it's not easy to say no to the stuff that we want, and we want to do sinful things. You know what I mean? Like guys, a lot of guys struggle with pride and lust. And I tell Leslie all the time, like if I am being prideful about something, call me out on it because I don't see it all the time. Daniel used to say my conscience was seared. But like I would say like my pridefulness, my realization of my pride is seared. I don't see it as well as maybe she does. And she'll say, hey, you know, like tone it down a little bit, like you're not all that. And I'll be like, babe, I'm not even trying to be like that right now, right? And like me arguing with her, I want to be prideful. I want people to say, look at me like I'm all that. But accepting that you're being prideful and going the other way is following Jesus, even though you don't want to. You know, there's some men that like, you know, if real or like porn, you know, men like have lustful thoughts all the time. And if you actively choose to just run away from those thoughts and either work out or take a cold shower or whatever you can do to get away from those thoughts in your head, you wanted that and you went away from it. You know, your heart is in it. That's gold, what you're just saying right there.
It's kind of like what Garrett was saying, that it would be a lot easier if it didn't go against her desires, right? Well, yeah, it would be a lot easier if it told me that I could look at women however I wanted to, that I could sleep with whoever I wanted to, that I could lust after whoever I wanted to. Yeah, that'd be a lot easier. But you can't.
That doesn't sound hard at all.
Yeah. Like that is part of following Jesus. You're called to be different. Like it's not supposed to be easy. Nothing in. I'm gonna get a little motivating right now. Nothing in life comes easy, right? Like, but we've become so soft. Nobody wants to do anything hard anymore. You know what I mean? Following Jesus is hard. You know.
I love that. I say that all the time. The older I get, as I'm talking like a 6-year-old man, but the older I get, the more I realize anything worth having in life, it does not come easy. You have to work for it. I mean,
that's why it's worth having.
Exactly.
The journey.
Yeah.
Paul says in Philippians 2:12, so then, my beloved, just as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your salvation. Work out your salvation with fear and trembling. But then the next verse is cool. I want to say that, for it is God who is at work in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure. So we're both doing it. Like God is changing your heart, but I don't believe that we're supposed to sit here idly. There's like, I don't think you can love without free will. I don't think you can truly love without free will. So otherwise we'd just be mindless robots.
Mm-hmm. I concur. Good question, though.
Great question.
You got it, Leslie. Do hard things. Remember that tonight.
Amen.
Snuck that in there. Nobody got that at all. That went over
I
everybody's
called it. I called it.
I chose to ignore that.
Okay. All right. Want to wrap it up?
Yep, because we're actually, so I didn't realize this, but unless you pay a monthly membership, you only get 5 hours of live streaming per month. So we have like, I think 13 minutes left of our free live streaming for this month.
No way. That doesn't stack up. We've only had 2.
Well, no, it relapses or it re-ups March 8th, so Saturday. So we'll be. I mean, we're fine.
We're good. What are you talking about? Yeah, we just got 13 minutes left. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Hey, this ad actually is cool because it keeps us on track to get it done.
Kind of.
Yeah, and they ain't playing no games. I mean, there's not like a $15.99 option. Like, no, it goes. It's either free. Or there's 3 options. You get free, $0 a month, or you can get $55 a month, or you can do $70 a month. Like there's no like let's help these Christian dudes out that are trying to get started.
I think you have the bootstrap YouTube because Spin doesn't deal with any of this stuff.
Well, this is all through StreamYard.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yes, it's not YouTube. It's the StreamYard subscription.
All right,
some crowdfunding.
So as always, if you have any questions, this is a great podcast today. We had a question. We had good questions in the chat. Put them in the comments. That'll be what we talk about next week. If not, we will talk about something that we figure it out. 25.2 this week. Good luck to everybody. Do you guys got anything special? No.
I don't.
All right, guys.
2 ball muscle up.
Yeah. Good luck.